Hey, hey, hey. Happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Yes, I am the grand poobah of the Gaming Gang. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Thursday, August 6th, 2020. This is episode 523 of The Daily Dope. This is your first time joining me. Let me point out, this is very casual. This is certainly no rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. Just kicking it, talking tabletop gaming. So we're talking board games, card games, miniatures games, role-playing games, obviously enough. And anything that basically pops up on your table and you're playing games with, we're talking about it. Every once in a while, we'll talk a little PC gaming, some pop culture, but for the most part, it's all tabletop gaming all the time. Anyway, do want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, ring that notification bell because it will not only let you know when the Daily Dope streams live right here on YouTube, Monday through Thursday nights. It'll also tell you when I upload review videos, such as my recent review for Pathfinder 2nd Edition Game Mastery Guide from Paizo Inc. and this weekend's Imperial Struggle review, which will be arriving. Ooh, yeah. I got some other stuff, other videos that'll pop up. I was actually going to publish my review of Tiny Epic Mechs today, and then I was watching it, and then I realized I completely screwed something up. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to have to reshoot that, huh? All righty. Anyway, also do want to mention when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, because this is a live stream, that means chat is available on YouTube. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you'd like to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question, comment, by all means, fire away, and I will do my best to respond. So far tonight, we have the madman who won an Ennies Award PDF on the show the other day. No enemies here. I don't know who that is. I have no idea who that might be. I don't know. A Grade A is also in chat. So I guess Dan from No Enemies Here is working on his awards. There you go. A Grade A asks, do I still think what is an RPG and how to be a dungeon master are still needed in core hardback RPG books? You know, I always joked around that if I ever wrote a role-playing game book, that the section about what is a role-playing game would simply have the sentence, you're holding it in your hands right now, or you're reading it on your digital device right now. That would be it. I don't know. It all depends on how it's presented. If it's umpteen pages long, I think that's overkill. If it's a couple of pages, yeah, that's fine. That's fine as far as, okay, so here, give you an idea. This is what a role-playing game is. John Vogel is in chat with us. John, I want to mention, I apologize. You asked me the other night, how about them Cubs? And it zipped on past. I didn't say anything. Yes, my Cubs, I should say my Cubs. The Chicago Cubs are doing very well so far. I don't know if we're going to actually see an end of this season, to be honest, but they are 10-2 as of right now. And games just starting in Kansas City. So I will catch some of that after I finish the stream. Kabuki Kid is in chat with us as well. So we've got a good beginning to chat here. So Grey Day says, yeah, they think for beginner sets or one shots, it's a good idea to include, what is a role-playing game. I agree. Like beginner boxes, things like that. By all means, I definitely do. I recommend that they include some sort of, here's an idea of how this game plays. Here's the one thing that before we jump into news, I will mention, I've seen some games where they give like this example of gameplay and it goes on for pages. I got to be honest. I think Call of Cthulhu did that in their Keeper book. I was kind of like, So John Bogle, I think, is saying that the Cubs are losing to Kansas City 6-0, huh? What can you do? They're not going to win every game. Kansas City's not a great team, but they can't lose every game. Anyway, all right, let's jump on into the news because got a good amount of it today. First off, I don't have a little slide or anything, but I should mention that Danny Lowe has been brought on to Pandasaurus Games as their new marketing person, their head of marketing. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Danny used to be, she was with Gamma. She was involved with Origins. And I know a couple of years, she was actually our contact as far as for press when we picked up their stuff, our press passes and stuff like that. And then she was working with Renegade Game Studios because I interviewed her at Gen Con when she was working with Renegade Game Studios. I'm not sure if she had left Origins to work for them or if she was working with both, but I do know that she had stepped down from Origins and left Gamma just prior to the big debacle over this year's Origins, as well as the online Origins that was canceled. So Dan from No Enemies here says, how about those Expos? You guys got the Blue Jays up there. You're not America. You get one team. I actually liked the Expos way back in the day. Of course, yeah, I've always been a Cubs fan, but when you're a Cubs fan for a long, long time, decades even, it would help your sanity if you were a fan of some other teams who played baseball because you weren't getting a whole lot of winning and playoff appearances by the Cubs. So anyway, moving right along, let's jump on into the news because Amigo has released the English version of the German card game Kraskariet. I've got the dope on Dealt. Amigo Games, the U.S. subsidiary of 40-year-old German game powerhouse Amigo Spiel plus Weinzeit Gesundheit, is launching an English language edition of one of its top-rated card games, Kraskariet, which won the coveted Fair Play magazine Best Card Game Award and a Spiel of Approval. Dealt, don't forget that exclamation point, ow, has features that will feel familiar to card game fans, but it also has new and unique elements. If you want to win at Dealt, you'll need to completely rethink how you approach card games, said Amigo USA CEO Jeff Pinsker. I'm sorry, Pinsker. I was going to say, Pinsker sounded kind of odd. So it is Jeff Pinsker. It combines elements I've never seen in card games before, says the CEO. The object of Dealt is for players to shed all of their cards by playing 1 to 3 cards that are higher in rank than the cards previously played. For example, a 2-card straight outranks a single card, and a pair outranks a 2-card straight, but players can only play cards that are next to each other in their hands, and they can't rearrange their cards. No touch. So I guess the box is sitting there saying, don't touch those cards. So the key gameplay dynamic is to play cards that bring the remaining cards in a player's hand together to form strong combinations. Delta also includes special cards that allow players to stop the current round and force other players to add cards to their hands. As a final twist, one player loses while everyone else wins. So as the game progresses, players who are in danger of losing typically turn on each other. Jeez. Instead of trying to go after the player who is winning. I always like to hear that about a game, right? The players turn on each other. Delt, which is available right now, is for 3 to 5 players, ages 10 and up. I like to see those 10-year-olds turning on each other. Plays around 30 minutes and does carry an MSRP of $9.99. So the fine folks over at Amigo had offered a review copy of Delt, and I pointed out that the game probably would not be a great fit for the Gaming Gang's audience, our visitors and viewers. So they're actually going to send me this Richard Garriott game, or Richard Garfield game. Why did I say Richard Garriott? Yeah, they're going to send me Ultima Online. They're going to send this Monster Carnival game. I was like, oh, cool, sweet, nice, very nice. All righty. So let's see. Great A's asking, are the Expos allowed in the U.S.? The Expos don't play anymore. The Expos are the Washington Nationals. That's who the Expos are. And they've been that way since the Washington Nationals arrived. But the Blue Jays are not allowed in Canada, I believe, at the moment is what's going on. I believe they are going to be playing in Buffalo, New York when they finally start playing again. I don't know. Like I said, this baseball season is crazy. So Kabuki Kid says, Lord British? Yes, Lord British, who I interviewed at San Diego Comic-Con about, I think it was 3 years ago, about their big online multiplayer role-playing game, which I've kind of played around with a little bit, but Anywho, let's move right along to the next news piece. KOSMOS Games has 2 new entries in the Exit the Game mystery series. They're arriving next month. I've got the dope. First off, we've got Exit the Enchanted Forest. What you had planned to be a relaxing walk in the woods suddenly takes a very different turn. As you are walking over a bridge, it unexpectedly disappears behind you as you begin to encounter strange fairy tale creatures and even stranger puzzles. What's going on here, and how are you ever going to find your way out of this forest again? Each title in the Exit series is an escape room game you can play at home for an unforgettable and unique gaming experience. Work together to solve all the riddles as quickly as you can. Can you find your way out of the forest? Exit the Game, The Enchanted Forest, is a lower complexity mystery for 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, plays in around 1 to 2 hours. I disagree on that one, but that's okay. And it is going to carry an MSRP of $14.95. Reason why I mention I kind of disagree, and a Great A just mentioned this. We played an Exit game on the live stream, and it took over 3 hours. Granted, it was me by myself and folks hanging out in chat helping out. So I think 1 to 2 hours. I don't know. I think it's a little more involved than just an hour's game. Although I have to say, the MSRPs on these are a little bit lower than some of the other Exit games that we've seen. Craig Martin has joined us in chat. So Craig's asking, have I done the GM screen review for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay? No, that's actually another one that's coming out this weekend. All right, Next exit game is Exit the Game, The Cemetery of the Night, with a K. According to an old legend, a priceless red ruby is said to be hidden in the tomb of Sir Reginald Reston, and it can only be found when the moon is at just the right angle in the night sky. Problem is that the moon is only ever at the right angle at midnight on a specific night once every 87 years. But guess what? You guessed it. Tonight is that night. Up until now, the crypt has remained sealed, and over the course of centuries, no one has ever succeeded in opening it. Who knows what might happen tonight, you think, as you make your way into the darkness? Will you and your group of curious treasure hunters have what it takes to finally solve the mystery and uncover the coveted gem? Exit the Game, The Cemetery of the Night, is a mid-level mystery for 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up. Plays once again, KOSMOS says hour to 2 hours. I think it's a little longer than that, probably. And also will carry an MSRP of $14.95. Both of these exit titles release in stores on September 1st. Yes, September 1st. Very nice. Very cool. So, yeah, I like the exit games. So, a Great A is mentioning, yeah, that was 3+ hours. So, yes. So Dan Webb, hey, welcome aboard, Dan. I don't know if Dan's popped into chat with us before or not. My apologies if you have, and I'm just not remembering it. Otherwise, welcome aboard. So Dan says, I like playing the exit games alone, as everyone I've played these games with have gotten very angry. My wife still won't talk to me. I can understand that. I can see that very easily. So yeah, I would think for the exit games, you got to be careful. I actually have Theft on the Mississippi, which I had been trying to play when I go over to my brother's house, where my niece and nephew are, because my sister-in-law is like a big mystery fan, and I think she would get a kick out of it. But every time I've gone over there, she's not around. So it's like, okay, all righty. Melwinius from York has arrived in chat as well. So, Great Ace says, sounds like you need to find an enter game to get back on the good side instead of the exit game. All right. Flaming Huron is also in chat with us too. So, let's move on to some role-playing game news, because folks know that I'm a big fan of role-playing games. And I like to go heavier on role-playing game news on Thursdays. So, we are going to talk about the September releases from Paizo for both Pathfinder and Starfinder. I've got my drink here because, it's going to be long. So, this is the point where I always kind of mention that if you've got really no interest in the Pathfinder, Starfinder releases, go get a sandwich. Go make yourself a cocktail. Go take a walk around the block maybe for about 15 minutes, because we're going to dive on in. That's right, because September has plenty of Pathfinder and Starfinder role-playing game goodness on the horizon from Paizo Inc. Not as much as this month. Oh, I'm sorry, last month, I should say. Last month's releases. I think there were 15. I think there were 15 releases for Pathfinder and Starfinder from Paizo. Of course, why not? Because it was supposed to be Gen Con. So, first off, let's jump on in, because we've got the Pathfinder Adventure Path 159, All or Nothing. Agents of Edgewatch, Chapter 3 of 6. When the Edgewatch agents receive a much-deserved promotion and transfer to Absalom's interjurisdictional Starwatch company, say that 5 times fast, they find that with increased responsibilities come increased risks. Well, with great power comes great responsibility. Following the trail of clues left behind by the murderous Norgorber cultist called the Skinner. Wasn't the Skinner in... I'm trying to remember. Rise of the Rune Lords. Wasn't there a killer, like a serial killer called the Skinner in that too? The agents find themselves caught between two sides of a gang war in the docks, and they must choose which gang to tip the scales in favor of in order to get the evidence they need. Their investigation takes them to the Lucky Nimbus Casino. Oh, I love the Lucky Nimbus. To perform a daring heist. Then the gladiatorial arena known as the Iorium to stop a devastating plot that threatens thousands of lives. All or Nothing is a Pathfinder adventure for 4 ninth level characters. This adventure continues the Agents of Edgewatch adventure path. I always want to say Edgewater because that's a neighborhood in Chicago. It's a 6-month, I should say 6-part monthly campaign in which the players take on the role of city watch officers and dole out justice to Absalom's most nefarious criminal elements. This adventure also includes new rules and inspiring details about some of Absalom's infamous gangs, the different contests of strength and agility held in the Iorium. It's kind of an odd word. And a horde of new monsters. 4 urban fantasy campaigns, each monthly full-color softcover Pathfinder Adventure Path volume contains an in-depth adventure scenario, stats for several new monsters, and support articles meant to give game masters additional material to expand their campaign. Pathfinder Adventure Path volumes use the open game license and work with both the Pathfinder RPG and the world's oldest fantasy RPG. You'll be able to pick up the soft cover with an MSRP of $24.99. You can grab the PDF. They haven't announced the PDF, but it's always available in PDF. I believe that will be $17.99. Then we've got the Pathfinder NPC battle cards. Keep all the friends, foes, and bystanders presented in the Pathfinder Game Mastery Guide. Hey, what's that? Close at hand with this handy collection of 110 reference cards featuring every NPC from that book, along with the adjustments to customize them to a variety of ancestries. Each 4x6 card is printed on sturdy cardstock and features a beautiful full-color image of a Game Mastery Guide character on one side, while the other side provides that character's statistics for quick and easy reference. With each encounter, show the players who their characters are facing while keeping the NPC's abilities at the ready, and watch your games come alive. It'll carry an MSRP of $29.99. Then we've got the Pathfinder Extinction Curse Pawn Collection. Enemies and allies from the Extinction Curse Adventure Path take their places on your tabletop with the Extinction Curse Pawn Collection, featuring more than 100 pawns for use with Pathfinder 2nd Edition or any tabletop fantasy RPG. Printed on sturdy cardstock, each pawn presents a beautiful full-color image of a monster or NPC from the Extinction Curse campaign, including the subterranean terrors, mighty dinosaurs, evil clowns, and many other friends and foes. The Extinction Curse Pawn Collection, together with the creatures and characters from other Pathfinder Pawns collections, provides pawns for nearly every Extinction Curse encounter. Okay, so I wonder which one it wouldn't have. Each cardstock pawn slots into a size-appropriate plastic base from the Pathfinder Bestiary Pawn Box or Pathfinder Pawns base assortment, making the pawns easy to mix with traditional metal or plastic miniatures. With tons of distinct images, the Extinction Curse Pawn Collection brings to life the enemies and allies from all 6 adventures of, you guessed it, the Extinction Curse Adventure Path. This will carry an MSRP of $24.99. So I see that we've got Viper Dave popping in. Good to see you, Viper Dave. A little early. Viper Dave usually shows up right when the show's coming to an end. So good to see you popping in a little bit early today, Viper Dave. So a Great A is pointing out the Skinners were the Skinsaw Men. That was it, from the Skinsaw cult. Thank you, a Great A. I was going to say, I thought there was some sort of Skinner thing going on. I thought I remembered that. I don't know. Pathfinder, next up, we've got the Pathfinder Advanced GM screen. There can be a lot to keep track of while running a thrilling game of Pathfinder, but the right GM screen can make all the difference. This 4-panel horizontal screen has a lavish illustration on one side and a wealth of useful charts and tables on the other, referencing a number of the advanced rule systems first presented in the Pathfinder Game Mastery Guide. What's that? This screen will help keep your secret notes and maps hidden from players while making your job as GM simpler than ever. The advanced GM screen will carry an MSRP of $19.99 for the physical copy. You can snag the PDF for $13.99. Then we've got more. We've got the Pathfinder Flip Tiles Darkness, or I should say Dark Lands Fire Caves expansion. I was going to say Darkness Fire Caves wouldn't make much sense, would it? There's an entire sprawling world of adventure below your feet. A whole new world. Flip Tiles Darklands Fire Caves expansion is the newest expansion to, you guessed it, Flip Tiles Darklands starter set. With 24 full-color 6x6-inch double-sided tiles, each stunningly crafted by cartographer Jason A. Engel, you can navigate twisting tunnels, brave bubbling rivers of magma, or explore the lava tubes twisting below a volcanic mountain range. All perfect for the next time the heroes wander too deeply into the depths. Suitable for experienced GMs and novices alike, this product fits perfectly into any game master's arsenal. Wet, dry, and permanent markers erased from the tiles. These double-sided dungeon tiles come in convenient packaging for easy storage. So add some fire to your caverns. This will carry an MSRP of $19.99. Then we've got the Pathfinder Flip Mat Classics Falls and Rapids. Whether your party is at the mercy of deadly rapids or is headed toward a plummet over a crushing waterfall, no game master wants to slow the action down by drawing every river bend and jagged rock. Fortunately, you don't have to. This line of gaming maps provides ready-to-use and captivatingly detailed fantasy set pieces for the busy game master. Whether the heroes are in flight or pursuit, this double-sided combat map features rapids, rocky bends, misty falls, and ambush spots aplenty. Don't waste your time sketching when you could be playing. With the Pathfinder Flip Mat Falls and Rapids, you'll be ready next time your players find themselves up the river without a paddle. A special coating on each flip mat allows you to use wet erase, dry erase, and permanent markers with ease. Removing permanent ink is easy. Simply trace over any permanent mark with a dry erase marker, wait 10 seconds, then wipe both off with a dry cloth or paper towel. Each flip mat measures 24 inches by 30 inches unfolded and 8 by 10 folded. This will carry an MSRP of $14.99. Moving on to Starfinder. As Dan Webb says, I hate drawing every river bend and jagged rock. Jeez. All right, so Dan from No Enemies Here had to rock on out. See you later, Dan. Hopefully get a chance to catch the show a little more often next week. Good luck on your awards. All right, so we've got the Starfinder Adventure Path number 32, the Starstone Blockade. Part 3, I should say part 2, of 3 for the Devastation arc. The heroes travel to Absalom Station to warn the Pact World's government of a fast approaching threat from beyond the stars. But before they are fully prepared, the Titanic spacecraft arrives and shuts down the fabled Starstone reactor, plunging the station into chaos. Wouldn't that basically kill everybody? I would think it would kill everybody. That's just me. Power went out in space. I think you're done. Maybe not. The heroes must find a way to bring the power back online while rescuing citizens and dealing with Aslanti spies, angry outsiders, and confused spirits. Can they save the heart of the Pact Worlds and take the fight to the strange alien vessel? The Starstone Blockade is a Starfinder role-playing game adventure for 4 16th level characters. That's right. The Devastation arc adventure path is for higher level characters. This adventure does continue the Devastation arc adventure path, a 3-part monthly campaign in which the players stop the threat of an ancient alien civilization in Starfinder's first high-level adventures. This volume also includes an examination of the Church of Elritu, the god of history, magic, and secrets, as well as a selection of ghastly new aliens. Each monthly full-color softcover Starfinder Adventure Path volume contains a new installment of a series of interconnected science fantasy quests that together create a fully developed plot of sweeping scale and epic challenges. Each 64-page volume of the Starfinder Adventure Path also includes in-depth articles that detail and expand the Starfinder campaign setting and provide new rules, a host of exciting new monsters and alien races, a new planet to explore, and starship to pilot, and more. This will carry an MSRP of $22.99 in softcover. I believe the PDF should come in at $15.99. That's about where they come out. Finally, we've got the Starfinder Flip Mat Giant Starship. Whether the heroes are passengers or captives on a vessel crewed by giant aliens, or maybe you want more elbow room for their larger companions on their personal starship, no game master wants to spend time drawing every passageway and porthole. Isn't that right, Dan Webb? Fortunately, with Paizo's latest Starfinder Flip Mat, you don't have to. This line of gaming maps provides ready-to-use science fantasy set pieces for the busy game master. This double-sided, oversized map features 2 areas of Starship designed for large creatures. Don't waste time sketching when you could be playing. With Starfinder Flip Mat Giant Starship, you'll be ready the next time your players want to upsize their ride. And a special coating on each flip mat allows you to use wet erase, dry erase, and permanent markers with ease. This will carry an MSRP of $19.99. All of these releases should be in stores a little earlier in the month than we're used to seeing from Paizo. Usually the Paizo releases come out right at the end of the month, last few days of the month. These are slotted to be coming out on September 16th. So in the middle of the month. So kind of cool. Kind of cool. So Dan Webb is asking if anybody has played Starfinder. So, you know, what's kind of interesting, I've had people asking if anybody plays Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So, and I know they do. I know it doesn't sell as well as D&D. Because I know back in the day, you used to see that Pathfinder was kind of shellacking Wizards of the Coast. But since Wizards of the Coast came out with 5th edition does outsell Pathfinder. So I believe this weekend I should have time, sit down, because I've been kicking this around for a while, sit down and do a video. It's not going to be super long. Well, then again, knowing me, who knows? But kind of breaking down D&D 5th edition, Pathfinder 2nd edition, which one is right for you? I mean, that's the reality of it. That's what a lot of people want to know before they start investing all this money into role-playing games. Do they go with Dungeons and Dragons? Do they go with Pathfinder? Of course, there's a whole world of other games out there, but for the most part, most people want to know about Pathfinder and 5th edition D&D. So, and there are differences, in my opinion, very major differences between the two. Even though, yes, I know Pathfinder 2nd edition is kind of like D&D 3.7.9.4, what have you. All right, let's move on to our next news piece. There is a new storyteller game of B-movie horror. It's arrived from Onyx Path Publishing, and I've got the dope on They Came From Beneath the Sea. They Came From Beneath the Sea is a dramatic and farcical tabletop role-playing game encompassing the wonder, horror, thrills, and humor of 1950s and 1960s science fiction. This game allows you to play with all the great content from the B movies of decades ago and promises a dynamic, fun time for all involved. In They Came From Beneath the Sea, you play humans in a world under attack. The attackers? Aliens from beneath the sea, obviously. Adventures range from the one-shot defense of a small coastal town to the lengthier liberation of a cruise ship infested with gillfolk, all the way to the story in which characters seize an alien submarine and ride it all the way down to the seabed to take the fight to the invaders. In this game, your protagonists are strong-jawed war veterans, cunning and resourceful explorers, utterly insane scientists, and blue-collar heroes just looking to defend their patches of land. They Came From Beneath the Sea contains a mix of serious threats and unbridled farce. While the book plays it straight with no winking at the camera, your game will involve ludicrous statements and events taken with all the gravitas of your boat being set on fire. While this game provides rules for funny quips and amusing cinematics for incorporation into a scenario, we leave it to the players and director to discover the correct level of humor for your game. They Came From Beneath the Sea uses the story path system provided in full in the pages of this book. They Came From Beneath the Sea includes 5 playable archetypes: the everyman, the G-man, the mouth, the scientist, and the survivor. I thought it was funny that they mentioned they have the mouth, because there's all, like every 50s and 60s horror slash sci-fi movie always has that one character. Even if it's supposed to be like a really scary movie, which of course, obviously, it's not going to be. It's like, it's always the, the guy, he's always like, his mouth is running a mile a minute and he's always talking about, hey, even Forbidden Planet has a character like that. Sort of like, Also includes rules for character creation and play using the story path system fully detailed in this book. So why are they saying this is what's included in the book and then they sit there and say detailed in this book? You're already telling us what's in the book. You don't have to repeat that it's in this book. Cinematic powers, such as the ability to insert deleted scenes in your game, cut to black when everything is looking a bit too grim. I do that in Call of Cthulhu Adventures once in a while. And redirect shots to kill the extras. There's quips to throw in at appropriate and sometimes inappropriate moments, giving your characters a chance at an award-winning scene. The history and settings of the 1950s world presented in this book. Yes, we know that's what's in this book. Scores of aliens promising the fall of the human race, presenting a broad array of dangers and objectives for repeat play. There's also 2 ready-to-play scenarios straight out of the book. Oh, hey, how come that bundle of holding is popping up? What was that? What was that? That's weird. Must be something else that did not save correctly. Why, I tell you, that kind of drives me nuts. So, like, why is that not coming up? Hang on one sec. I think I know which one it's going to be. And, yep. There we go. All right. So this 258-page book is available at Drive-Thru RPG as a premium hardcover for $54.99, or you can snag it in PDF for $19.99. Personally, I think this would be probably a riot. Here's the one thing that I'm a little surprised that Onyx Path Publishing did with this release. And I'll be honest, I don't have like any inside dope or anything like that from the Onyx Path. But I'm kind of surprised they went with a specific adventure genre with a specific setting and alien menace. I would think you'd get way more mileage out of this if it was more of a generic kind of setting. So I don't know. But it does look pretty cool. It does look pretty interesting. And that whole concept of B movies, and I know there are quite a few role playing games out there that do tackle the whole B movie, monster movie sort of vein. This still looks pretty interesting. I would definitely want to check it out. So a Grade A says, game masters and dungeon masters have been putting B movie stuff in role playing games since 1977. Personally, I would say it's probably since 1974. So Craig Martin says, lucky for them, it's hard to get Pathfinder and Starfinder products in New Zealand, or they would have to go get another house loan to pay for it. See, that is one of the aspects of Pathfinder that's both a boom and a bane. So you got the boom side as well. Yeah, we get a lot of releases every month, so there's always content. The bane is you got to pay for it if you're going to get it. So, yes, Dan Webb points out Monster of the Week. That is another. Isn't Monster of the Week? I got to be honest, I have not really looked at Monster of the Week, but I know my best friend Elliot was kind of bouncing around running kind of a supernatural role-playing game, and he didn't want to actually run the supernatural role-playing game. So I'd recommend it. Hey, take a peek at Monster of the Week. But isn't Monster of the Week kind of in X-Files? Kind of, one of those sort of, where it's basically a show that is Monster of the Week, as opposed to like B movie. I don't know. I'm not positive. So Flaming Heron says, well, PDFs aren't so expensive for Pathfinder, but if you want physical copies of stuff, yeah, that's another story. Actually, interestingly enough, and I keep joking about, whoa, what's this? Because I just did a review for it. This is $49.95. I think 95 or 99. Oh, is it? Yeah, $49.99. But the PDF of this is $14.99, which is actually a pretty damn good deal, because normally the going rate is pretty much half of the price of the physical book is what you pay for a PDF, which in my opinion is still pretty pricey. But let's move on to our last news piece, because Modiphius Entertainment has released the newest Star Trek Adventures PDF, and this time out, it tackles the characters from Enterprise. Here's the dope. This 16-page PDF contains player character statistics for the crew of the USS Enterprise NX-01, including Captain Jonathan Archer, Commander T'Pol, Commander Charles Tucker III, Lieutenant Malcolm Reed, Lieutenant Hoshi Sato, Ensign Travis Mayweather, Dr. Phlox, and Commander Thylik Shran. This pack also contains game statistics for the USS Enterprise NX-01. These characters do require the Star Trek Adventures core rulebook to use and play, obviously enough. This 16-page PDF is available at Drive-Thru RPG for $4.99. Very cool. I'm glad that Modiphius keeps releasing all these series, crews, and stuff like that. I like that fact. 16 pages, $5. A little pricey. But I do know Paramount has to get their nut. So I'm sure that's probably why. And yes, I do know there is a new Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay adventure that came out today. I got the news of it pretty late. But it is a new Graham Davis adventure for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and I will share the news of that on Monday's show. So Dan Webb says, Star Trek Adventures, been thinking about this. I reviewed it when it first came out. I think it's actually pretty cool. I think it's pretty well done. The 2D20 system takes a little bit of getting used to, but I will point out that the Star Trek Adventures is I don't want to say watered down, but it's not as crunchy as, say, Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed of. That that I think to me is the crunchiest of the 2D20s. The John Carter Warlord of Mars that came out is probably the lightest of the 2D20s that I've seen. So, so Flaming Heron says that Humble Bundle has a good bundle for Star Trek Adventures going on right now. I did not know that. I did not know that. Now, speaking of good deals, today is Thursday. It also means that it's free PC game over on the Epic Games Store. I didn't share news about it because the two games that are being offered this week look kind of meh. I still got them, but, and I'm reminding you, be sure to swing over to the Epic Games Store to get your free games. But there was just nothing, to really get excited about. Remnants is going to be next week, and I have heard good things about that. It's a first-person shooter that was supposed to be pretty good. So Craig Martin says, I like to have physical books, but have picked up some of the older stuff on PDF. Yes, the Advanced Player Guide is due next week and is priced at $99 New Zealand. Jeez. Wow. Yeah. See, the funny thing is, well, okay, I guess maybe that's where when it's coming out in New Zealand. I think here in the U.S. it's already out. I think it is already available here in the U.S. As for what other Pathfinder reviews I've got, I don't know. I got to be honest. I did tweet this. You should follow me on Twitter at The Gaming Gang. I am looking for a dedicated Pathfinder and Starfinder reviewer, one of each, but it's PDFs. So, and I do not have time to do written reviews anymore. I just don't. So that is out there. That offer is out there. If anybody watching would be interested, if you can string some coherent paragraphs together, all good. I did have somebody reach out on Twitter, and they sent me a message, and they said, oh, hey, check out my reviews I've done for XYZ blog. So I went over and I checked it out, and it was very, like, the way it was written, it was as if it was very conversational, which is okay. That's kind of how I write. But it was like all these pauses where it was like dot, 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 dot. And every paragraph had at least one instance of the dot, dot, dot pause. I was like, what the hell is this? It's like, who's editing this website? Because I'd be like, dude, enough of that. Get rid of that. That doesn't look right. Not at least one time in every paragraph. And this person's paragraphs were like 3 sentences long. And I was like, what the? So I messaged back and I said, hey, pretty good. Because I mean, in reality, the writing wasn't terrible. But I said, hey, the style guide that we use, yeah, no, you're not going to be able to dot, dot, dot once or more every paragraph. Just can't do it. And then they didn't write back. So I was like, all right, whatever. I guess they're mad that I actually was it being an editor. Sorry. All right. So Craig says, looked at getting books from Paizo, but it was going to cost me $59 in postage for a couple of books. Yikes. Huh. So Great A says, well, I'm out with the coherency part. Kabuki Kid says that they are a Dead Tree fan. I am too. I like having a book in my hands. I do. But piggybacking on what Kabuki Kid is saying, that even if they've got a PDF of something, they like to have the physical book. A lot of times, I like to have the PDF of the physical book myself, just so that I can bring it with when we game. I don't like to have the physical books when I'm trying to run a game. So, for an example, like if I'm running Call of Cthulhu and I'm using the bones of the skeleton of a published adventure, I'll have that PDF on my iPad with me. I don't want, I don't like clutter. Usually I do not use a Game Master screen. I think I've talked about this before. I usually have just a chair pulled up alongside me, and I'll usually have like a box top so I can roll my dice in it and stuff. I don't tend to have a screen in front of me, although I do have the cool new Call of Cthulhu Game Master screen, which I will have a review of that out probably this weekend too, because they're really quick. All right, so a few more minutes here. We'll see what's going on here in chat. Hey, one other thing I do want to mention. I don't know if there's much interest as far as seeing, yes, box top old school. Yes, just like my dice bag. Also old school. So I had to bring my dice bag downstairs when I was rolling for the winners. I don't know if there's a whole lot of interest in people seeing reviews of stuff that has been out for a while. I did pick up a bunch of stuff from Fun Again Games, and it was just, stuff that I guess didn't sell all that well, and what have you. And one of them is, whoops, it's upside down. How about if I flip it around the correct way? And this thing's heavy. Defenders of the Last Stand from Richard Lanius, and it's supposed to be along the lines of Defenders of the Crown. Oh, I'm sorry, Defenders of the Realm. Why did I say Crown? But so I actually got that. It was like the Kickstarter edition of it, and it was I think like $50. But I also got a lot of the Among the Stars releases, which was from Stronghold Games. I was very surprised to see how many Stronghold games that Fun Again Games usually has in their kind of like liquidation sale stuff. I think I've pointed out before, and Stephen Bonacore is a great pal of mine, although he did step down. He did retire from Stronghold now. I got to be honest, if without Terraforming Mars, I think Stronghold would have been in trouble sometimes, because there were a lot of games that came out that were just a lot of those like roll and write games. I've mentioned that before, that Steven had this fascination with all these abstract roll and write games suddenly. So Malwinia says their dice bag is the tobacco pouch where they cut out the plastic inlay. Flaming Heron's talking about using a photocopier to take images of stuff back in the day. I remember that. We did that all the time. We'd have to go up to the grocery store, which was actually quite a walk over by Elliot's house. We'd walk up there and go use the copier for 10 cents a copy. All right. So Flaming Heron says, I don't feel as strange. Their old dice bag was a bag their dad used to play marbles. Nice. That's very cool. That's very cool. Sweet. All right. So did I miss anything? Anybody ask anything in chat that I didn't answer? Because I know when I was going through all the Paizo stuff, I really wasn't taking a peek at chat. Because otherwise, if I did, it would have taken us an hour for the Paizo news. So Grade A says they had Western Trail. I think Grade A is talking about the liquidation stuff over at Fun Again Games. Yeah, he had an extra like $110 floating around. I thought, maybe I should pick up some stuff, just because I got to be honest, I have not had a ton of stuff showing up as far as review. And I do understand that, of course, we've got the issues with coronavirus, of course. So, but I've got more things starting to click finally. So I don't know what was going on. I have no idea. So, all right. Anyway, so Fleming Heron says, I feel like everything I type makes sense till I read it a second time. Yeah, I kind of read between the lines of what Fleming Heron had typed. All righty. So, as I mentioned, my Imperial Struggle review will be up this weekend. There'll be some stuff up. I'll have something up tomorrow night, maybe tomorrow afternoon. Have some stuff. I will definitely have the review for the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Game Master screen. So that will be up. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but it will be up before I come back on Monday. So keep your eyes peeled. So I always like to point out, to find out what's going on, follow me on Twitter at the Gaming Gang. Almost as right as rain, I will tweet out what's coming out, like what companies I'm talking about on the show. As soon as a review pops up, it's up there on Twitter. Of course, you can subscribe to the Gaming Gang as well, to the RS feed. I don't know how well that works half the time. So that is it for tonight's show. That's it for the shows this week. I start my weekend off. So, once again, if you like this video, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, ring that notification bell because it will let you know not only when the Daily Dope streams live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. I'll also tell you when I upload other videos such as my reviews and unboxings and first looks and interviews and page throughs and so on and so forth. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Those of you who hung out in chat, thank you very much. Always appreciate people keeping me company. So, oh, hey, Dan Webb says, hey, I liked and subbed. Cool, thank you. We've gotten a good amount of subscriptions in the past month, about 120, which is, yeah, I know for most channels, they're like big deal. But for the Gaming Gang, 120 and a little more than 120. I think it was 123. That's not too bad. That's the most I'm aware of in a single month. So sweet. And of course, we're rapidly approaching the 10th anniversary of the Gaming Gang too, September 1st. Anyway, as I was saying, those of you who watched live, thank you very much. Always appreciate you keeping me company in chat. If you don't have an opportunity to watch live, maybe you're even watching on Memorex, thank you very much as well. I'm equally appreciative of people who watch non-live. Anyway, everybody enjoy your Thursday night / Friday morning. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Try to do some gaming. But also, as I've been closing out my videos during this pandemic, don't forget at the same time, be smart and stay safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.